Welcome to Sweet Tea Ethics, the show pouring life lessons and conversations with creatives, artists, and cultural producers about the ways harmonious living and balanced well-being have shaped you. I'm your host, Dr. Ed Garnes. Make sure you subscribe to the show, join our mailing list, and visit sweetteaethics.com. Today, I have the wonderful opportunity. I'm really blessed because this brother is on the road, like he works at an airline, right? So we have our wonderful brother, Lil John Roberts. Now, let me tell you how I came upon such a talented legend. You know, when you have a music aficionado that has played with everyone, you got to give them their props. So this is a flower ceremony for you, John. So I came about Lil John at a place called Funk Jazz Cafe. This brother was tearing up the drums. I'm talking about like any hip hop song, he was putting it down. But upon further research, my jazz inclinations led me to his story. This brother was mentored by Wynton Marsalis. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. He's played with everyone. I'm just going to give y'all a couple of names. Do y'all know somebody named Prince, the purple one? Do you know Janet Jackson? Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. I mean, one of my personal jazz favorites, George Duke, in the house. I mean, and also my dad's favorite, George Benson. I mean, he's played with everyone. So welcome to Sweet Tea Ethics. We're going to pour some conversations with this good brother. Welcome.
Thank
My
you,
brother
brother.
John. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Blessed, man. I can't complain.
Well, it's appropriate that you are at Sweet Tea Ethics because we are definitely going to get into some healing. You know, with your new album, it is a therapist's dream. Okay, your new album is all about healing and meditation. So, how does a all started? We see every black music television show, our award ceremony, you are on drums. So, how do we get the jazz, hip hop, just the musical drama that now has entered the healing space? And I have recommended this album, brother, to over 35 of my 1,000 clients that I have seen in the past year. So talk about how we get there, and then we'll get into some more of your story.
Man, first of all, thank you for sharing that. We went through a time period where we really needed some healing, and a lot of things were going on. 2020 was a weird time for us. COVID, the killing of Floyd, Breonna Taylor, all those things that were happening. Black people getting murdered by policemen. And it was just a dark period I know for me and for a lot of people. I was losing family members, friends. I'm sure you were too. And in that time period, I was like, I got to do something. I'm feeling some kind of way. How can I get this emotion out and try to help other people that are feeling the way that I'm feeling? And it just started out of one like collaboration that I had with my boy, Kenny Banks Jr., amazing piano player, up and coming guy that's playing with a lot of folks now. His dad is actually a Kenny Banks Sr., who's, legend in Atlanta already. He's music director with Liz Wright. So he's already bad. So his son has come up now, and he's just as bad as he is on piano. So we're at home. We can't go too many places. And we're just, I'm doing records and stuff at my house. I'm recording because, that's the most we could do. All of our shows were canceled and everything. So it was like, okay, first of all, I got to keep making a living. Second of all, I got to keep my sanity.
Yeah.
That's
why we here at Sweet Tea Ethics.
We were all at home trying to figure out things to do and keep our mind off of what was going on. Try to stay from getting sick, run to the grocery store, get food, come back home. You couldn't really go anywhere. Well, Atlanta was still open.
Oh, yeah. They were serving chicken wings everywhere. Lemon pepper didn't stop, okay?
Some cats was playing a few places. I know I snuck out somewhere and played somewhere. I ain't going to say no names. But I snuck out and played somewhere because, I was like, man, yes, y'all playing somewhere. It's only 50 people can show up. Okay, cool. Let's do it. So in that time period, I thought about music, that I could come up with that would help, soothe the soul, help with healing people's emotions and their hearts and being depressed and everything. And so we started with one song. We just back and forth sending ideas to each other. I would play some rhythms or, some tribal drums and things, and he would play some melodies on top, send it back to me. I'd add some more stuff, send it back to him. So it was that kind of collaboration with me and Kenny first.
Okay.
One of those songs on the album was Infinity. Oh my God, Here to Infinity. That was one of the first ones if you listen to the record. And then as I was going, I started adding things and adding people. I called Philip Lassiter, the trumpet player who played on that song. He was already all the way in Switzerland or somewhere like that. He's still living somewhere over there right now.
International player, okay.
Yeah, Philip Lassiter's played on a lot of gospel records that you might have heard. He's done all the horn arrangements for those things. He used to live in Dallas, so he's a part of that whole crew. Snarky Puppy, Sean Martin, rest in peace. He just passed away. Robert Sput Seawright. He's part of that whole crew, all the Dallas family. So then, as I'm going, I'm collaborating with other people. I'm like, look, I got these ideas. Can you add something to this? So I send it out to them. They do something, send it back. And this is kind of like how I did my first album as well. It's called The Heartbeat. So this album has 11 songs on it. I went in the studio as well with a girl that I met that plays sound bowls. She's a yoga instructor. She's a meditative, like a leader. She holds meditation classes and stuff. So her name is Lauren. And I saw Lauren playing sound bowls on one of her videos one time. I was like, yo, that's really cool. Like, what if I played some stuff with you, like some drums, tribal drums and stuff? Because, I'm in that mode where it's kind of like meditative music, but still more spiritual than actually just meditation. I'm from the church. So I got to be careful when I say when I say things like that.
No, we're going to get to that now. We ain't going to let you not talk about the church now.
Right. So I'm a pastor's son, and so I had to be careful about how I was presenting this music. It's not technically meditation music, but it can put you in that state, and it's up to you to decide how you want to use it. So anyway, I took the sound bowls with Lauren. We went in the studio. She's never recorded in the studio before or anything. And I said, just follow me, do what you do, and I'm going to be in another room with my drums and percussion and everything, and I'm going to just flow. We'll just flow and see what happens. I put a click track on so we can follow the tempo and everything. I'm just like, can you hear the click? You can hear the timing? Yeah. I'm going to play along to this, and you do whatever comes to you, and let's see what happens. So 3 songs later, 3 ideas later, I took that stuff that we came up with, kind of edited. Most of it's straight. Most of it's pretty much from top to bottom. I didn't really do much editing. I did a few things. And then I sent it to like one of my boys, Jamar Jones. He's in, he used to be in Dallas. He was TD Jake's music director for a while.
Okay.
And he's in Birmingham now at another church. But we grew up in Philadelphia together. We played with Jill Scott together. We played with Music Soul Child. We did all the Philly stuff together and church. And so I send this track to Jamar. He hears the drums. He hears the sound bowls. He composed a song around what we did. Now, keep in mind, sound bowls have notes on them. They have specific notes. When you play the whatever the mallet device that she uses, she circles the mallet device. It makes me
go into trance when I hear it. I'm like,
yes. So it's one note that just vibrates. So each of those notes have each of those bowls have a certain note. So while she's doing these notes, Jamar goes and composes a whole composition around what she's playing and what we're playing, which is amazing. So that one is called Tribal Dance. If you listen back after this interview, think about that. Like, me and Lauren went in first and recorded what you hear, and then Jamar played piano on top of it. It was so beautiful.
Go ahead.
Yeah. What were you saying?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because let me tell you how I use tribal dance. So I do something called creative visualization with my clients, especially if they need some grounding, have a lot of anxiety. So I had a woman patient that I was working with, and I played tribal dance, and did a meditation in session with her because she had a high level of anxiety. So when I posted it as my jazz meditation, believe me, that was just not a post for Instagram. I'm actually using that thing with my clients. So how does that feel to know that a therapist of 23 years is incorporating this sound into their sessions, bro?
That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted it to be for. Those kind of
And
things, as well as people who are sitting at home by themselves and just want to go in a trance and close their eyes and pray or whatever they want to do to that while that music is playing. Hopefully, my intention was to make them feel better, make them be inspired. A few people hit me and was like, "Man, I was crying off of some of these songs." Like,
yeah, I was gonna not share that, but I cried. Okay, first
yeah,
first first couple of listens, it just brought out. I was thinking about my dad, my brother. It brought out some things in me. But
yeah,
for me, it wasn't a stretch, but I was excited about it because the timing couldn't be better when I look at the world and how we are trying to manifest things spiritually, the things that we are up against. Black folks need healing, everyone does, but just what we're up against, we needed something. But for me, going back to my Black psychological principles, spirituality runs all through you. And so
yes.
what I want to talk to you about is that when I see you, I don't see a drummer, I see a conjurer. Like, I see someone that is called to use this instrument to bring us home. All right. That's what I see. And
Thank
then
you.
also from a technical perspective, your improvisation skills comes from a learned place. I think the reason why you're able to flow and be able to produce, be a musical director, flow with different folks, is because this is a calling, but it's from a position of being learned. So from professor to professor, what do you think about what I'm saying about this calling that I see when you play the drums? It's almost like you are calling me back to a place long ago when I see you play.
I appreciate that, Doctor. That means a whole lot to me because music to me is that, period.
Okay.
Like, I mean, some people play music for other reasons. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not knocking them for that. My purpose of playing music is to inspire and to make people feel good, heal people if I can through the rhythms that I play. You know, a simple cymbal swell or a chime or anything intentionally is what I'm doing on purpose to make
Okay.
you feel a certain kind of way. And that's in all the positive ways that I can. You know, any rhythm, any drum that I touch, anything that I'm hitting, my
Mm-hmm.
intention is that it inspires you and makes you feel good in some kind of way, you know?
Yeah, I think it was you do a lot of live playing. Sometimes you share it on your feed. I think you did one of the time songs, one of those difficult productions, and I was like, I mean, I felt like you had become the song because you were not only keeping time, but I thought you was in the time. But what I appreciate about your work is just the energy, and I think the spiritual side of you comes out whenever you're in the presence of John, y'all. You are around good people. Like, you're the person that my grandmother would invite for Sunday dinner constantly. She'd be like, "Where John at? I got some chicken for him," right? But I think that comes out in your playing, right? But you can't play the way you play unless you've been through something. So I'm sure you know about the blues and all of this. So I'm sure you got a story of resilience or something that may inform why you give it your all when you play. Because I feel like an elder sometimes when I hear you play. I'm like, the boy done been through something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't play like that unless you got a story of resilience. So share for us something in your life that has led to you leaning more into your spirituality, something that may have troubled you that you had to get past. Because with Sweet Tea Ethics, it's all about emotional healing, emotional processing. Your work does that, but I mean, you got a story. I mean, you got to share
Oh man.
something with us that we can get inspired by, because you play like you play like freedom is on the way. You know what I'm saying?
I've been through a lot, man. I mean,
You can just share something with the people.
yeah. I mean, I don't know where to go specifically, but
You can go
all I,
anywhere that you feel comfortable. Whatever spirit moves you, just go there.
yeah. I mean, just from growing up in church to
Mm-hmm.
switching over to playing secular music,
Yeah.
uh, that was a thing for a while, being at a young age, because I started early. I was playing in my dad's church when I was 10.
Prodigy is
By
what the name people throw out with you. Prodigy. You was a prodigy.
And then by time 16 years old, I'm like going on the road and traveling with people and stuff and asking permission to go, do this and do that and the other, and having people call the house and talk to my dad, Mom, do you mind if we take him with us? And then doing early recording sessions with gospel artists like Edwin Hawkins and
Mm.
traveling with Vanessa Bell Armstrong.
Oh Lord.
My first album was with a guy in Philly named Bruce Parham, who's an amazing artist,
Okay.
singer, preacher, pastor in Philadelphia. So all of those things, and then moving to Boston to go to Berklee College of Music, man.
Mm-hmm.
The manifestations, like you talking about, of wanting to play with Miles Davis and
Mm-hmm.
wanting to play with Janet Jackson and wanting to play with people that I was hearing when my dad was playing 8 tracks in his basement while he was working out. He was playing George Benson and playing Earl Klugh, and who else was he playing? George Howard. All of these
Mm-hmm.
people that he was listening to, or I was
Any
hearing
West
when I was a kid.
Montgomery in there?
No, he didn't listen
Oh,
to
okay.
Wes
He
Montgomery.
didn't listen to West. Okay.
No, but I mean that's the guy right there too, George Benson, and I'm working with Norman Brown, who's a amazing guitar
Oh.
player as well.
Oh yeah. Oh
Right,
yeah.
right there with George Benson and Wes Montgomery, style wise. But yeah, just that transition had me trying to find myself at an early age, because there was a lot to deal with when you get
Oh,
into the
that's a
music
lot.
business, and I
Mm-hmm.
had to figure out how to be grounded. Of course, I had to figure some things out by trial and error, make mistakes, and all that kind of stuff. Just learning as I'm going. The hardships of trying to make a living once you get on your own. Getting
Mm-hmm.
to Berklee, staying there for 2 years, and then moving down south. Like, I never knew I would live in the South. I knew nothing about the South because I'm from the East, from Philly.
Yeah.
So
But you
culture
play a good
changes.
Southern boy now. You play a good Southern boy, because I thought you was from the A for about a year.
See,
They was like,
but
he's from Philly.
Atlanta is a lot like Philly. Atlanta is
Yeah,
so much
man.
like Philly. Like, y'all, the culture, the dressing,
Mhm.
the dance,
The
culture.
beards.
Right. The hip hop culture, like, so much stuff is similar to me. Like, when I moved to Atlanta, I felt like I had already knew the people that I was running into. It was like, you remind me of my boy back in West Philly, or in
Okay.
Mount Airy, or the girls, like, it was
Yeah.
just, it felt like home, and
Okay.
for the last 30 years, Atlanta has been home, and it's felt like that. Like,
Yeah,
I
and
I don't
shout
know
out
where
to
I would go.
Jason Orr, because I wouldn't know who you were without that. I mean, it was like you and I think it was y'all were the Chronicle then,
Yeah.
and man, I mean it
Yep.
just because as a young cat that likes jazz, I was an outcast, right? So to see you bring that kind of drum into hip hop that I remember from my dad playing in those jazz records, I was like, this is the kind of brother I can get down with. I've
Dig it.
always wanted to ask you this though. Now, Wynton Marsalis is known for being very shrewd. Like I mean, he is on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you trying to, you got to keep time. You want to play with Wynton, you got to keep time. How was it impressing him so young? Like you and brother Christian McBride joining the orchestra that he put together. I think were you still a teenager then?
Yeah, we were 16.
So talk about that experience for someone that is known to be a perfectionist, to bring that quality to the table, to be able to get under his mentorship at such a young age. What was that experience like?
That was amazing. I mean, I met the whole family while I was in high school. My music teacher at Overbrook High School, Will Smith, went
Mm-hmm.
there as well, in
Okay.
West Philly. My music teacher knew everybody in the jazz world. So
All right.
anybody that came in town, or he would be in touch with all of them. Like, he was their friends. He was their buddies. Wynton, he knew how to get in touch with Miles, who he brought to the school. He knew
Okay.
Sun Ra. Sun Ra lived in
Oh
Germantown
my
in Philly.
God.
So all those people he would bring to the school and have them do like lectures and master classes and stuff. So he had Winton's family come with
Okay.
Ellis Marcellus's dad,
Mm-hmm.
Delfeo
Mm-hmm.
Marcellus, Jason Marcellus was really
Uh-huh.
young back then. I mean, he was probably close to my age because Jason is close to 50 something now too as well. So, but to me, he looked like a little boy back then, and he was killing on drums. I was
Okay.
like,
Okay.
Jason Marcellus, like you hear about Winton and whatever,
Uh-huh.
but
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Jason, like he's a genius. Like if you go on his
Okay.
IG and just listen to some of the stuff he talks about or some of the playing that he does,
Yeah.
absolute genius kid, man now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but having Winton come to Philly and meeting him that way, he got a chance to see us play and everything. And Dr. George Allen, who was my music teacher, was
Mm-hmm.
telling him like, you should check him out and see what you feel, because he's putting this Duke Ellington Youth Orchestra together. And
Yeah.
me, Chris McBride, Joey DeFrancesco, we were already playing together as a trio.
That's a
Questlove,
bad trio to be that young, brother. That's
man,
a bad trio.
they pushed me, man, because I wasn't
Okay.
playing jazz like they were back then. I was
Okay.
learning. I was still coming out of the church and transitioning into being a jazz drummer.
Mm-hmm.
Questlove was in All City Jazz Band with us as well.
All
We
right.
had like an all-star band in high school. So it was
I
cool. We,
can't
we
wait.
all grew
Yeah,
up together.
yeah. I
And
see why you working on that documentary, man, because you got some stories, man. You got
man,
some stories
so
there.
many
But yeah.
stories. And man, like this is an example of those manifestations. I had a
Mm-hmm.
calling on my life for sure.
Yeah.
Playing in my dad's church. Philly loves my dad, John Roberts Sr. That's where I got the name
Mm-hmm.
Lil John from because I'm junior.
Okay.
But
I'm a junior too, John. Hey,
word, so you Lil Ed.
it's hard to carry that weight, but you doing it. They don't understand that junior thing is hard, man.
And I've been trying to get rid of Lil John forever, but I can't.
But they can't. You can't because everyone, especially in the A. I mean, I knew you before the other brother,
The
Lil
rapper
John. So
Lil John.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you talking about the drummer? No, man, I'm talking about Crunk. But
Right.
the Marcellus family is like I feel like they're part of my family because my dad was a jazz head. That's where it comes from for me, from Herbie Hancock to Wynton Marcellus. I remember listening to what is the soundtrack? Mo Better Blues, and he was like, "Well, I already introduced you to his brother, but this is Bradford Marcellus, right? You need to get down with him." So
Yeah.
that is very much a part of my life. One of the things I did want to talk to you too is about I love your posts, right? Because I see the Professor John coming out in those posts, like the level of professionalism that you have to have, taking care of the culture, taking care of the music. What do you feel is your responsibility as a black musician in 2024 to the culture?
Well, to keep the standard high, for one thing, for other musicians and artists in general, like, this is a business. So, we got to treat it a certain way, or it gets out of hand and it gets chaotic. And I just don't like living my life that way. I might have had some chaotic moments growing up, learning myself and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. But at this point in my life now,
Yeah.
I like peace, man, all the way
Yeah.
across the board. Peace. I
I
come
love
home.
those posts. I'm like, teach, brother, teach, because as an educator, we got to get on them about time and other things. But talk about your transition. How was it going back to your birthplace? Like you started at Berklee College of Music. Now you're a professor there. What is that like making the transition? I think it's a natural transition because, like I said, when you got the calling of the drum that you have, you're really educating each day. But what was it like to find yourself in that space? And also, I think you were working with the students on like a Michael Jackson orchestra or something like that y'all put together.
Michael Jackson Ensemble, yeah, which was
Okay.
cool. We did that. Tia Fuller, she's one of the professors there, amazing
Mm-hmm.
sax player.
Okay.
Um, she's been there. She's been doing those kind of productions like Beyonce, because she toured with Beyonce as well. So
Mm-hmm.
she's done that. She's done like those productions for about 10 years at the school now. And
Okay.
so since I came, the first one that I did was on my own, which was nuts to do because I needed help. You know, all those kids, and you got to deal with the personalities and everything. So I
Yeah.
came in the fire. They threw me in the fire when I got there, and
Okay.
I did a Janet Jackson ensemble my first year,
Okay.
which
Okay.
was really nuts for me to do after not really getting
Yeah.
acclimated to the school yet. So I
Okay.
learned some stuff in that one semester, like, whoa,
All right.
okay. So the second time around, Tia Fuller reached out to me and asked me would I like to be a part of her Michael Jackson ensemble. So this time she knew that she needed to have other people there, you know, even for my
Mm-hmm.
situation. Next time, if I do another one, I'll have some other professors there to help me manage these kids, you know. So Tia had myself. She had another professor, Johnny Keys, and another professor, Mimi Jones, who's an amazing upright bass player. And
Okay.
actually, she started school the same year that I started in 21. She started teaching as well. So we're both the newer ones, as well as Johnny Keys. So the four of
Mm-hmm.
us, and we had Anthony Burrell, who's an amazing choreographer who teaches at the conservatory. For you know,
Oh,
because
okay.
Berkeley and Boston Conservatory are joined together now.
Okay.
But that Boston
Oh, so
Conservatory has all the dancers and all.
you see, you that calling and took you somewhere. That's a great collaboration. So
Yeah, it
you
was awesome.
basically got really educated and thrown into the fire on how this professor thing works.
Exactly. So I've been learning as much as I've been teaching at the school.
Yeah.
I've been learning as well from them. Like this, I've been teaching the students stuff, and they've been teaching me stuff how to manage dealing with these kids, how to make cross the line and make
Yeah.
sure that or put the line in front of me and say, okay, I'm like a big brother or father figure to some of y'all, but I'm still
Yeah.
your professor as well. Like, because my first year I was all cool with everybody. Hey, like some of them was even still calling me Lil John, and after a while I was like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
Professor
Yeah. Yeah.
Roberts here.
Yeah, see, I look 12. I had that problem all the time. I like Dr. Garnes or Professor Garnes is preferred. What up,
Right,
man?
exactly.
I know you 6'5" and look older than me, but we ain't gonna do that.
Right. So the respect level, you learn how to
Yeah,
like draw that
yeah,
line and then, just learning so much like how to approach teaching these kids and all, because it's
hmm
this generation is totally different than how we were raised.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. I had to adjust my teaching style. I have to keep my voice at a certain level. You can't holler. You can't push too hard like we was pushed. Or
right.
you gonna be in the dean's office. So I learned that pretty quickly. Okay,
Yeah.
but
So
while we talking, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
While we're talking about the next generation, every so often the Herbie Hancock quote about jazz comes back around, where he basically his underlying thesis is that, people stop caring about the music, and so jazz is not, something that is promoted by the mainstream. So in your work, do you believe the theory that jazz is dead? Do you believe it is the audience losing interest in the music? Because I have a love-hate relationship with hip-hop. I've never lost that longing for jazz. So what would you say about that conversation? It comes up about every 6 months, that
Yeah.
Herbie Hancock quote, and it comes back up since he's touring. People are posting it a lot. The Headhunters got back together. So
Man, that
I
was
mean, I
amazing.
couldn't believe it. I could, they got Marcus Miller standing there. You probably know more than me because you know all these cats. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So,
I reached out to Harvey Mason and congratulated him. They haven't played
oh,
together in 40
it's like
years.
okay, I'm about to say 30 or 40. When I saw the Headhunters got, I almost cried. So, what is your take? We heard from Brother Hancock. So, what's your take on jazz? Like,
I really
is
think
it
coming from my generation that it's having a resurge now. Like even the younger
okay?
ones are starting to jump into, playing jazz more.
Okay.
And then you got the crossovers like Masego and them that's mixing jazz into
Ooh,
pop music with them, and I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that. So I don't think it's dead. I think
Okay.
it's just having another evolution now. It's what do you call it? Redefining itself, reinventing
Mm-hmm.
itself, and then just in a different way. but I don't think it's ever went anywhere. Like it's still there, that the art is still
Yeah.
there, and we are still trying to keep it alive. You know, especially the cast that I've grown up with, McBride and
Yeah.
all these other people that I'm affiliated with. We're still doing it. You know, we haven't stopped. So I think there's still hope there. And yes, it might have died off for a second and kind of got lost for a minute, but it's still going. It's still in the air. You know, it's still
Yeah,
brewing.
the sampling helps. Whenever my students say, "Oh, Dr. Garnes, I don't want to do no jazz meditation," and I have to, pull out, "Okay, you like this song? Oh, that's wonderful. All right, that is George Benson." So
Yeah.
I have to always try to educate, because similar to you, I don't think it's dead. I have too much vinyl. I mean, it's a part of my life too much to say it has gone.
Right.
So I
And
I have a question for.
I noticed you know a lot of music. I see your posts. Yeah, I'll be
Oh, okay.
checking
So
you.
what was one that I posted? You was like, all right, the boy done good. Because if
Oh
I
man.
have impressed you, which one, anything you can remember, I posted. Because I post jazz meditation for the audience. I posted on my Instagram. I've been taking a break, but I'm bringing it back because my clients that I see are requesting it. So I'm gonna bring it back. But anything that I dropped our artists, he was like, okay,
Yeah,
Ed is
Ed,
Ed is official.
I can't
Okay, it's
remember
so
them
many. Okay,
right now,
all
but
right,
because I've been
all right,
seeing you dropping a bunch of it, and every
okay,
time you
all
drop one,
right.
I'm like, oh, okay, you know what's up, you know. But
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I
I
mean,
think.
this ain't like popular stuff that you be dropping
Yeah,
too. This is like
yeah.
the heads, like you dug deep
Yeah.
into the crates, you know. So yeah, that's cool,
Yeah, the
man.
jazz meditation is important. I thought of one for you before I get to my next question, but the jazz meditation I want to give to the people today is from George Duke. No rhyme, no reason. Now that song right there, whew, was going through some things in my teenage years. Boy,
Mm,
that no rhyme and no reason. Ooh, when I was back in my chorus days, I sung
wow.
that to many a young lady trying to get my mojo back. Okay, but yeah, I mean, it's something not only melodic about George Duke's, the way he's able to take a love song and jazz it out, but I mean the meaning behind the lyrics, man. And it has grown with me. Now at 47, it means something totally different. I said, "Oh,
Right.
they ain't got no rhyme or reason." When you
Yeah,
when you
and
get
George.
married, you got a son, you be like, "Woo,
Yeah, George was
yeah,
coming from a place of love, and you know,
mm-hmm."
like he's super, you know, what do you call it? In the
I mean,
clouds,
it's,
you know.
it's like he's intergalactic. It was
Yeah,
like an intergalactic
intergalactic. That's a
experience,
good
probably,
word.
right? Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
but I mean,
Because I
like
mean, you
just
had Dookie Stick, the no rhyme, no reason, and then you had, I mean, you had some straight ahead stuff, but some very funk centered stuff. So, what was it like working with someone whose presence is so, it's out of this world?
yeah, I mean that was a opportunity of a lifetime to work with that kind of guy that everybody
Mm-hmm.
respects in the industry in all genres. You know, he played with
Oh
Frank
yeah,
Zappa. You know,
yeah,
so I
yeah,
would play
yeah.
shows with him, and I'd meet people that were like Zappa fans that were coming to see him. You know, just learning more things about him just through his fan club. You know, just from talking to people
Okay,
that came to see him, and they were just everybody loved George, and he was so humble and sweet as a person, one of the baddest on piano, but so cool, man. And I just learned a
mm-hmm.
lot watching how he handled being that person. You know, you never felt ego from George. Now you know he could play, and he'll let you
Oh
know.
yeah, yeah. I
But
mean, just nimble with the fingers.
yeah, but just as a
Yeah,
person, man, just on the everyday lifestyle, like he was so sweet, man, and I was
yeah.
honored
That
to have been around him and worked with him.
that song, no rhyme or no reason, man. It just hit me in my soft spot. But
Yeah,
my next question was like, you don't play with everybody, but I'm sure it's somebody that you had a fan moment. So I'll be vulnerable first and kind of lead into this. So I had a chance to interview Raphael Sadiq on several occasions, and it was so hard for me not to fan out. I mean, first interview, I want to be like, I mean, so if Sadiq is listening to this, brother, I appreciate. I mean, I got to interview him 2 or 3 times. I did a cover story on him back in the day. But have you ever had a moment where you're sitting there, either as a fan or in an out of body experience, where you like, yo, I'm playing with this person?
yeah. Janet was the first one. I mean, because I was only
Okay.
23 years old when I got in her band. So
Oh, you
the
were that young?
yeah, 95. And when she walked into the room the first time I got to meet her, my eyes were just like,
Yeah.
it was just, I was kind of hypnoptized for a second.
Yeah.
But I had to keep my composure and still be professional.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had to play it off like, yeah, that's her, but
Okay.
I'm not gonna lose my stuff right here. I'm gonna lose my thing, So
Yeah.
I still gotta show that I'm worthy of being in this situation
Yeah.
too. So it
Yeah.
made me like really go hard, when I got into that band, man, just to show her like I can handle this.
Okay.
Because they could have called anybody, especially at that
Yeah.
time period. It was all these legendary drummers. I came behind Jonathan Moffett, who was playing with Michael
Oh
and the
man, I'm
brothers.
about to say that's MJ and the Jacksons drummer.
Yeah, man. So
Mhm.
I'm already just like freaking out about that. Like those are some really big shoes to fill. So
Okay.
I prayed and I just went for it, man. I was ready. I was ready. I
Okay.
honestly say I was ready, Ed, because I
All
had
right.
been practicing and just getting my craft together for whenever the
Yeah.
opportunity came to do whatever. Like I wanted to play with Miles Davis in '91
Mm-hmm.
when I got to Berkeley. I was really in my mind thinking of playing with Miles Davis. I'm like, I want to be in his band. I want to be in that funk jazz band because that was
Yeah.
the thing. That was my style right there. I was like,
Okay.
that's my thing right there. And I could do
All
that
right.
and I would kill that. That's how I was thinking. And Miles passed away that same year.
Oh my God.
So I was
Ooh,
crushed.
that would have been ignorant in a good
Oh
way, you
man,
know?
I would have loved to have been in that band. I mean, to the point where today I
Mm-hmm.
performed, some shows doing a
Mm-hmm.
dedication to that music because I wanted to play it. So
Oh,
I got Phil Davis, I got Trey Gilbert,
okay.
I got Derek Scott, all the guys that I play with most of the
Mm-hmm.
time in Atlanta. We put a unit together and did it at the Jazz Festival. Actually, a few years back, we did a tribute to
Okay.
Miles, and we had
Oh
Russell
man.
Gunn play trumpet.
Okay.
So it was nuts, man. Then Nicholas Payton showed up. He sat in with us, and
Oh
man,
man.
it was
Yeah,
crazy. So
I did a jazz meditation with Brother Peyton on my page. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that's my dog, man. He actually teaches at Berkeley now too.
Oh, okay. Look at
Hmm.
how these educators. So it sounded like you had another one. So you said Janet. Now I almost, since you vulnerable, I'll match your vulnerability once again. I almost passed out at one music fest. As soon as she came on the screen, shout out to Motown and J. Cole. I was like, so I feel you on Janet, but it sounded like you was about to mention another person too that kind of had you in who was that?
Okay, I got to give you two more because one of them
Oh, come
was like
on. I want it.
one
Let's
of them
go.
was a one-time experience.
Mm-hmm.
And this was, oh my God, the sweetest lady I have ever met and even played with is Nancy Wilson. First of all, she's fine.
I didn't
Nancy
know she was
Wilson was
fine.
fine.
I didn't know she was fine. Like, I mean,
What?
I mean,
I,
she's pretty, but when I hear fine, it's like the whole deadly combination.
it, my definition of fine is a little different because it's
Okay.
the essence of the person too.
Okay. All
Like
right. All
just
right.
her
Okay. All
air,
right.
her greatness, just her
All right.
humbleness, sweet, and can sing her butt off. Like, so I worked with her on a TV show one time. I think it was an award show. I was with Ricky Minor in
Mm-hmm.
LA, and she was one of the
Okay.
guest performers on it. And we played I can't remember what song we played. I know I had to read it
Mm-hmm.
because it
Yeah.
was a pretty deep arrangement and it was very,
Okay.
very specific. And I think it was kind of medley style too, because I think Guess Who I Saw Today was one of the songs in the medley. But it
Mm.
was some other songs too. And I've seen Nancy Wilson perform before, prior to this time. This is when John Williams was her bass player, the bald head guy that
Okay.
was
Okay.
on Arsenio Hall show.
Uh-huh.
He
Uh-huh.
was
Uh-huh.
in the band with the posse. And I saw Nancy a few times, like in Philadelphia, like at the Man Music Center, or I saw
Okay.
her in another place in New York. And I'm just in the audience, just stuck on this lady, man. She was classy. That was the other word. So classy, man.
You was
And
transfixed.
bro, I was hypnotized, man. She came out in this beautiful dress. It had like
Yeah.
sequin on it. I mean, her hair was gray, but like
Mm-hmm.
The hair was just
Oh, the
so
hair was
laid.
fly.
And then when she started singing, I was like, because as a young guy, I always had a thing for older women. I don't know, it might have been from being in church and being around like the evangelists and just in all of them, like, wow, she's amazing.
You just like class, and unfortunately, sometimes you have to go a little older to find that resonance. So okay, so
and that explains some of my relationships too, because I've
okay,
been searching for those kind of things, and if I didn't get it, it was like
get it.
it was kind of a letdown. Huh.
I got you. So we
But
got to find. Okay, we got to find you a Nancy Wilson. So I go into my therapeutic bag. We gonna cultivate and manifest a Nancy Wilson for John. Okay.
look, man,
You said you had a.
it makes a lot of
Go ahead.
sense to some of the things that had happened in my career, like my relationships. So yeah, Nancy Wilson. Okay, the next one.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh man, it's two more. It's two more.
Come on,
because I work with both of them.
We dropping the things that people might not know about you, brother.
Okay, so Prince will be another one.
All right.
And Prince, the situation with me and him, we rehearsed for a whole week. I played on the NAACP Awards with him, with Sheila E. Thank her for calling me to do it, to be in the band. He knew who I was first in the beginning before I got to play with him. I worked on his bass player's album, Rhonda. What's Rhonda's last name? Oh my God, Smith. Rhonda Smith was one of his former bass players. She called me to play on her record. Matter of fact, Sheila played on some of that, I think, too. He heard the record. He came in town and she was playing with him, so she invited me to the show. And I go backstage. This was after the show. There's this purple curtain.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's probably very interesting.
Yeah, and I'm waiting to go back, So I'm just up against the wall, chilling, just trying to stay out the way. And this hand comes from the curtain and grabs my arm and pulls me on the other side. It's Prince. He saw me. So he grabbed me, pulls me over to the curtain, on the other side of the curtain, and he says, I like the way that you played on Rhonda's record.
Okay.
In that tone too.
In that tone, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the way that you played on Rhonda's record. His voice is really low when he speaks in general.
Okay.
When he sings, he hit the rafters, So I'm like, yo, thanks, man. I appreciate it. So nice to meet you, man. And it was just like, nice to meet you too. And then he disappears, and then I'm still hanging out with all the rest of the people. So that was the first encounter that we had. So the second time around that I see him again, actually the second time around, I went to see them in Vegas. Mike Phillips invited me. And so they had an after party after every performance. And he invited me over to the jam session. It was in another section in the hotel that they were playing at. So Mike's like, so you're going to sit next to Prince at the table with Prince. And I was like, what?
What?
He was like, yeah, you're going to sit. And they put me right next to Prince. So I'm like,
oh my God. Talk about pressure, brother.
But it was so weird because he was trying to act like he didn't know me for a minute. It was like little mind games and stuff. It was just stuff that Prince would do.
He's a master psychologist. Okay.
Oh my God. So I'm sitting there and I'm just like, okay, I'm just waiting for him to acknowledge me or whatever. He starts, I'm going into a whole nother story. He gets these lollipops. And it's these girls at the table. It's me and him and 4 or 5 girls at the table. He gets these lollipops and he's passing them out to the girls. All the girls. And then he gets to me and he turns the other way. He never gave me a lollipop. I was like, really, bro? These are for the girls. This is not for you.
I'm trying to keep it together, but this Prince and lollipop story is about to take me out.
Bro, it was so funny. And I was just like, okay, I see what kind of game we playing here. So I just ignored him after a while. All right, I'm sitting here. I'm watching the jam session. I'm jamming, listening to the band. And then he finally looks over to me and he's like, what's up, man? Shakes my hand. I'm like, you mother.
Yeah, You passed the psychological test.
Now he wants to speak to me. I'm like, what's up, man? Good to see you again. Whatever. Third time around, this is when we get to play together. So Sheila calls me to do this thing. She's like, you know, Prince has a thing for the NAACP Awards. They're going to honor him. He has a medley he wants to do. I want you to be in the band with us to do this. So he shows up to rehearsal. I'm already playing the NAACP Awards with Ricky Minor in the house band. So the thing is, Sheila's like, he can't know that you're playing in the house band that night. So we're going to fix this till we're going to work it out so he never finds out that you're playing anytime before we perform that night. So I rehearsed with the house band from 10 to like 6 in the afternoon. Then in the other studio, I'll walk over to the other studio where they are from like 8 to whenever they want to be finished to rehearse with him. So that was a long week for me because I rehearsed with them, the house band during the day, every day, and then run over to his rehearsal to rehearse with him for the rest of the night. So it was like 10 a.m. to like 12
and
midnight
he likes
every
to
day.
rehearse. He liked to rehearse.
Yeah. But one thing about this situation is that the band was so killing. It was killing. I still have a rehearsal tape of that, of our rehearsal. I have a recording of the rehearsal, and I'm never going to lose that. But he had another band, I found out, rehearsing in another side of the studio somewhere. And one of my boys who was playing drums with him, John Blackwell, was his drummer. And, you know, I basically mentored John, you know, since Berkeley. He came to Berkeley while I was there, and we were there for a little while. Then he moved to Atlanta. I was helping him out. And then he got his first gig with Cameo. And then, long story short, he got the gig with Prince. So he's in another room rehearsing with another band that basically was already playing with Prince, just in case we sucked. So he comes into the room, John Blackwell comes into the room and sits down. You know, I guess he called him in there to have him sit down and sit near me. So I'm looking at Sheila. I'm like, why is he here? You know, and Sheila's like, don't worry about it. It's all good, you know. So these are some of the games that Prince was playing. I'm like, okay, maybe he's trying to show him like, hey, you know, your boy is over here killing or whatever. Or, you know, try to mess with me and see like, oh, my drummer's in the room, so let me see what happens here while he's in here. Whatever happened, I was still there. I made the cut, you know. So through this time, he hasn't acknowledged me yet either.
No, not even with a lollipop.
Not even with a lollipop. This is the third time that we interacted with each other. He just shows up, he puts his guitar on, he tunes it up, he's ready to go through the songs. I'm behind him, like where that drum set is right there. And he's just playing. Because first of all, he's probably trying to see if we're going to, you know, make the cut anyway. Yeah. And we're smashing the rehearsals. And, you know, he's jamming. We're going through the songs a few times and everything like that. So, you know, first day he leaves. Nobody's really said anything to him, you know. Second day he comes back. You know, things are getting a little more hot now. So everybody's like, okay. By like the third day, he finally starts acknowledging us, you know, like especially me. The first thing he told me was play, you know, he sent a message to John to send to me. Tell him to do such, you know, he whispered in his ear, hey, John, tell him to do this. John comes over to me and says, dude, he called him dude. He said, dude said, can you play such in this section? Okay, cool. All right, I'll do that. I did it. Next time around, he whispers to John, hey, John comes back around to me again. Hey, man, dude said, can you do this? I'm like, all right, cool. He's not saying nothing to me. He's telling you to tell me. Third time he goes to tell me something. He comes around, he said, hey, man, dude said, can you? I said, man, why can't he just tell me? I'm right here. Like, he's right there and I'm right here. Can't he just say something to me?
Oh, man, this is so psychological.
And he's looking down on his guitar and looks up and like laughs, like smirking because he heard what I said. And he kind of smirks like, oh, okay, like this is a real one right here.
Yeah, he likes you. I'm about to say he likes you because you're taking it, you know?
Right. So next time he turns around, he says, hey, man, play the claps on this song, right? You know? And I'm like, all right, cool. We
Philly
good.
came out. Hey, talk to me, man.
I'm like, yo, why you keep sending you over here to talk to me?
Yeah.
Hilarious, man. So we had our own little bond in a way. You know, it is what it is. Like, I'm not trying to jump in front of an artist's face when I'm playing with them. Anybody I work with, like, if you talk to them now, they'll say John just does his thing. If you speak to him, he'll speak back. But I'm not running to like be friends with everybody like that.
You have an impenetrable reputation. Like, that's
Yeah,
one
I'm
of the
like,
things that I respect about you, is that your name rings true and good in a lot of circles, man.
but I give respect and I like it in return. That's plain. It's just point blank. And if you're not going to give that to me, then I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, it's business then. I'm just coming to play drums for you, get my check, and I'm gone.
You still Philly now. You know what I'm saying? You spiritual, but you got that Philly. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
I'm like, oh, word. That's what it is. Okay, cool.
Okay. Oh,
I see what it is. I'm good.
In Atlanta, we would say, bet that up. Okay.
Bet that up. Right.
Bet that
okay,
up.
the last one out of those.
Go ahead.
Stevie.
Oh, God.
Stevie.
Oh, God.
And it's not even a fan out thing, because I'm definitely a fan. Who's not? But respect, just in awe of his genius. Because I worked with Stevie a few times before I got to do the tour, Songs in the Key of Life tour with him. I've done some TV shows with him. I did the tribute to Quincy Jones, and Stevie played. Matter of fact, George and Stevie played on one of the songs. We did Can't Help It, because he helped, you know, he wrote that with Michael Jackson. So that was one of the songs that we did, and he did a instrumental version of it, and he sang it a little bit too. So we went through all of that. You know, so Stevie already knew who I was, and he was always cool with me. Just sweet, you know. But the time that really just made me have an out-of-body experience was when I was on tour with him, and we were playing Love's in Need of Love. That's like one of the first songs we started on the set at the top of the show. Did you go to the show at State Farm? Oh my God!
No, I didn't go to it. I should have, but no, I didn't go. I heard. Believe me, I heard about it.
When we played Atlanta. When we played Philly, when we played Detroit. Those three main cities were on another level of spirituality, because Detroit is home for him. Philly was home for me, first home, you know, and Gamble and Huff and all of them were there. So it was like Philly soul was in the building. So that just resonated even crazier. But when we played in Atlanta, I don't know what it was in the air, but it felt like a church service. It felt like a church service, because Atlanta's soul, man. Atlanta's a soul city, and they were singing us all the songs, and everybody was quiet. They were listening to every little thing he did. Like, you didn't hear nothing while the songs were played. They were just sucking it all in. And me being 30 years in Atlanta, it just felt good to play for the people that I've been around all those years, you know, playing with him. And while we were playing Love's in Need of Love, it just took over me, like almost to the point of crying, man. I was just like,
that's that spirit. That's that spirit coming out.
Other level, you know, spirituality. And I'm hearing him singing in my in-ears, and I'm like, I've been listening to these songs since I was a child, you know, and I'm actually playing what I was hearing with the person that was singing it, you know.
Yeah. And remember, I said you are a conjurer. So that's what was happening. You was conjuring right then, you know?
It was crazy. It was really, because I play with a lot of people, you know that.
Yeah, but I know him.
Doing that with him, just, my heart was pounding like crazy, man. It was very overwhelming.
Well, this is good, because, you know, I normally, man, I wish we could talk. This better. I knew it was gonna be good, but you dropped some. I'm gonna listen to Nancy Wilson tonight, because you dropped some stuff. Okay, I knew it was gonna be good.
Yeah.
But who is on? We normally, you know, near the end, ask about your healing playlist on Sweet Tea Evans, because we talk about emotional healing and expression. So who has to be on Lil John's playlist? Someone says, Lil John, we need you to put together a healing playlist. Who's on it?
So there's this group, they sing a cappella.
Okay.
And I don't recall the name of the group, but they sing, "I am surrounded by love." Like they have a song called "I'm Surrounded by Love."
We're gonna find them. Okay.
I am surrounded by love. You know, that whole album, I just let it play. It's just all vocals. That album for sure.
All right.
John Coltrane, Love Supreme.
Oh, come on now.
It's a must. Like,
that's
soon
my
as he starts out at the
record.
top, soon as his sax comes in on Love Supreme, like at the top, it's just, it's like, oh boy. That, I love Pat Metheny.
Okay.
Still Life Talking. That album does it for me till this day. I played it not too long ago, the other day when I was driving to Huntsville to do a drum workshop thing, and I had that playing the whole time. That's very relaxing and meditative to me. And I was listening to that while I was at Berkeley. That was the first time I heard Pat Metheny's records, was while I was at Berkeley. And I used to go see him play at a place called Raoul's Jazz Club in Boston. Famous jazz club there. Ooh. Yeah.
The experiences, man. Anything else on that list?
It got to be some gospel somewhere.
Okay. Are we going Clark Sisters, Hezekiah? Are we going,
We're going Hawkins Family.
All right, Hawkins
Love Alive. Love Alive, you know, one of those records. Man, you put me on the spot there.
No,
anything with sound bowls, just let that play.
Yeah.
Let sound bowls play, because the vibrations, you can't help but just, if you let those things play, it's gonna seep inside of you, if you like it or not. Just from those vibrations. Some people can't handle the vibrations, and that's fine, because a friend of mine, one of my friends told me that one of the songs on my record, like the last song, was just all bowls, and she said that it got a little overwhelming for her. Like, it was,
some people that some people that have a sensitivity to I can't even think of the psychological term, but it's too much for some people. Just like some people can't look at dots, some people certain sound waves, you know, upset the nervous system.
Yeah, but whoever can, sound bowls is cool. For me, I love it.
Okay. Man, this was John, man. I mean, for you to take your time, I mean, this man, every time I talk to him, he's like, well, I'm on tour with such and such. I deeply appreciate the time that you took, man, and you making this a priority. I really appreciate that, brother. Let the audience know how they can get in contact with you and where they can purchase the album.
Lil John Roberts, LILJOHN Roberts, everywhere for social media, and the record is everywhere on Spotify.
Oh, we didn't even say the name. We got so good into it.
Elevation. Elevation. You can get that one, or you can get the Heartbeat, my first record, which was in 2014. That's out as well on every platform as well.
Yeah, and Heartbeat, y'all, being a Leroy Hudson fan, the Kipper Jones interpretation of y'all, that's my favorite. Closer to the soul. Yeah. He killed that.
I love that song. Jamal Ahmed played it on WCLK one day while I was driving, and I was like, what is this? So I pulled my car over. I called Jamal. I'm like, hey, man, what's this song you playing? He picked the phone up while he was playing the song. I was like, whose song is this? And he was like, oh, it's called Closer to the Source. I immediately went and downloaded it and was like, I got to do a remake of this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who would like it? Yeah.
Yeah. If y'all know Badu, you know, she sampled Brother Hudson too.
Yeah. And so his son, I knew his son. He's a producer. So I reached out to his son and was like, hey, man, can you ask your dad if he'll give me his blessings on me doing a remake of this song? And he was like, all right, I'll ask Dad. And then he hit me back and was like, yeah, Dad said, go ahead and do it. So yeah, man. Awesome.
Man, you brought the healing energy that the people need. And so y'all make sure that y'all follow Lil John Roberts on all of his socials.
Later, Doc.
All right, my brother. Thank you for listening as we pour some good old sweet tea ethics. Hope this special brew was healing to your mind, body, and your soul. Subscribe to the show, Join our mailing list and visit sweetteaethics.com. Peace, love, and poppy seed oil to you all.